I just want to ask CEO Mark
Mm-hmm.
Gerard and your best bud from Rockstar Games. Do you wash your hands in the toilet when you're done shitting in the sink?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Coin Drop Podcast, episode number 105. I believe we're on now, Mike. How's your week been?
I was gonna say it's been it's been a couple of years of doing this. But yeah, straight to the week. I mean, it's been kind of just a whole lot of nothing for the most part. Highlight of this week was kind of just July 4th.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Been watching movies, hanging out. Went to an interview with DPS, and then I have another interview Monday, which hopefully, I told you off camera, that's probably going to end up giving me a job
Hope so.
that week.
That'd be great.
Yeah, especially because it's $23 an hour.
That's not bad money.
Throwing a bunch of tires in the truck, driving the truck to wherever the tires go, and throwing the tires at people,
Make sure you knock them out. Yeah, catch, bitch. Mama said knock you out, motherfucker.
yeah, don't even warn them. Just fucking turn the corner in the garage and just start chucking tires.
All right, if you're driving like a box truck, just throw open the back hatch, slam it in reverse, then hit the brakes real hard. Just chuck them at people. Yep.
Yeah, just do like half a J turn, but instead of like turning the wheel, we just go straight again.
Yep.
Fuck it.
Yep.
Just let all those tires fall back out.
My week's been pretty good. Started Red Dead Redemption 2. Finally sat down, started playing that. Started it on the OLED or QLED downstairs, whatever it is, the big TV that we got from a good friend. Yeah. That we got from a good friend, but realized very quickly that like game streaming is still having some hiccups, and there was some stuff with it. So eventually I'm gonna end up moving my computer down there, but for now I actually started playing it up here, and I've been recording it, so I'm gonna turn it into like an episodic thing that I'll release on my YouTube. It's probably going to be a while before it drops, because I want to get 90% of the way through the game before I even start posting episodes. That way I don't gotta worry about like trying to continue to play the game and edit. That sounds like a nightmare. So it's probably gonna be a couple months.
What else sounds like a nightmare?
Huh.
Playing 90 hours of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Well, so that's the thing, right? Like I think episode 5 is about where I start to talk about it. There's a little bit of commentary. I don't say a whole lot. I like video games and watching like the story and playing. Like I want to feel like I'm the one playing it if I'm not playing it, if that makes sense. Right? Like there's certain games that I'll watch people be a personality and give their input and be funny and that kind of stuff. But then there's games like I just want to watch the game because I don't have time to play it. And I can sit through 30 minutes every couple of days or binge watch a quote unquote show. So I do very little commentary through it. And it's usually just like points here or there where I'm like, oh, I'm fucking stupid. I did that wrong. Or like, shit like that. But I think it was like episode 4 or 5 after I got out of the tutorial that I was like, okay, I've decided how I want this to go. The videos are going to only be of the story and like actual side quests. Like I'm not going to record myself playing poker and hunting and doing a bunch of side activities. Like the only thing that series is going to be the story, because that's the point of that series, is so I can share the story with people who don't own the game, can't play the game, whatever the case may be. So I do very little commentary in it. The poker's boring as fuck, bro. You're insane.
Poker is boring as fuck. What do you mean?
Yeah. Although, like, I did watch somebody play Balatro, and I super want to play Balatro now because that looks fun.
Yeah.
And that feels like a game that would go great on the big TV downstairs, because like it's not. It's
also, I think it's multiplayer now too. So
is it? That's cool.
You can play on like 2 or 3 controllers.
Okay. Nice.
Gang together.
Interesting. There's also a chess one that's like it now, I guess. There's a chess game that does that. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I've been editing a couple episodes of that. I'm 6 or 8 hours into the game at this point, 12% of the way through the story. So hopefully by the end of the summer, I'll be able to start posting that. If anybody's interested in it, it'll be there. And I'll make another announcement on here when that goes live. If anybody wants to go over to my personal YouTube and watch it there, links are on our link tree, and you can find it. If not, I'll put a post when it actually goes live. But that's what I've been doing. Between that and playing Ragnarok, I reorganized the office. I think I said so last week, and moved. So like, I'm prepped for moving my computer downstairs so I can run wires back upstairs and do some other shit and still have like multiple places to access my computer, but have it closer to the big TV downstairs. But I have noticed that the construction in this house is absolute shit. And occasionally you'll probably see me moving to my right here on the screen because my floor is sloped. So I just kind of slowly slide like this if I don't have like my feet planted on the ground, and I'm not like, it's a noticeable slope. It's kind of, I just did it. I just slid. Like, for you audio listeners, sorry, you missing out on the visual gags again, but this is not a joke. It actually does just slant that much, and it's really fucking annoying. So,
hey man, speaking of visuals, nice Deadpool shirt.
Oh, thanks, man. It's it's my hunting Deadpool shirt, because that's a thing somebody bought me for Christmas one year, because they're like, you know what Russ likes? He likes hunting.
And Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean, they got one of those things right. So, but it's a nice, it's a tank top. Like, it's comfortable. I don't know.
It was a 50-50 shot. They got it.
It was, yeah. Look, man, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So I don't know, but it's comfortable. You know, it was hot in here earlier, so put it on. More visual gags, I guess. But hey, let's talk about some games. Talking about hunting, I guess. And maybe sabotaging, I guess.
Aha, nice segue.
It was a stretch. It was a stretch. Was it the CEO behind Mindseye recently said?
He said some things.
He said some things. What did he say, Mike?
There was a redundancy email that was sent out to all of their staff. Keep in mind, as a reminder, the majority of their staff are former Rockstar employees that worked on Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
So he sent out an email after the game failed, and there's two major points that he spent an abhorrently amount of time trying to elaborate on. But to summarize them, point one, the pressure is starting to get to everyone, which makes sense. Development studios are constantly under stress and pressure from not even just the outside, the customers and clients that are playing their game or investing in them, but also interior wise with all of their like management and like time management and every other thing that you could think of.
Yeah.
Point two, though, is every time I read it, I lose my composure.
Tell us about it. Let us hear it.
Word for word. There really is a conspiracy against Build a Rocket Boy and Mindseye that somehow caused it to not be very good.
Wow.
Word for word.
Anytime you start a sentence with "there really is a conspiracy," boy, maybe just build a rocket and leave the planet. take your studio's name advice, and boy, go build a rocket.
I'll read some bits and pieces from the article.
Sure,
that kind of point out things in here.
Sabotage.
So the report says the redundancy emails have been sent to everyone at Build a Rocket Boys UK studio. However, estimated to be around 300 people, as well as staff at PlayFusion.
That's a big. That's a big indie group. That's a huge amount of people for an indie.
Developer of the multiplayer shooter Ascendant is who PlayFusion is, which Build a Rocket Boy acquired in 2024. That's a shame.
That's
not good. Yeah. The article next sentence, that does not bode well for the studio's promise.
Bro, hold on. Who wrote this article? Because this is a good article. This is some good game journalism.
Indie Chalk at PC Gamer.
Hey man,
he literally says the next sentence says that does not bode well for the studio's promise to keep working on the game until it doesn't suck.
Boy. Oh man, I love this guy. I like this guy. This guy knows how to write.
Hell yeah. But Benzies Benzie's famed as one of the driving forces behind the Grand Theft Auto series prior to his departure from Rockstar in 2014. So this is right after GTA 5 would have launched on the PS4.
Yeah.
And the Xbox One. Seemingly has bigger plans than just fixes. On July 2nd, according to the report, he addressed his studio staff via video chat, during which he reportedly said the studio would make a comeback and relaunch Mindseye, presumably to greater success than it enjoyed so far. Which, to be blunt, is none.
Yeah,
again,
zero
word for word from the
success.
article.
Damn, this guy. Yeah, we need him on the team. If we had any money to pay anybody, I'd be bringing this guy over. Holy shit, he is brutal, and I love it.
He also blamed at least some of the troubles with the game and the studio on, and he says, and I'm quoting IGN here, internal and external saboteurs, among other things.
Can we just pause? Time out. Time out. Internal saboteurs. Let's just think about that term for a second. This means there's people on the team who wanted to see this game fail. People whose livelihood were riding on the success of this game wanted to see this game fail.
Yeah, man. 100%. It's factual.
Sure.
Me,
okay.
Bro.
So in any crime, right? Who gains and to what end? Right? Those are the first two questions. Who gains and to what end? So you work for a team that is making a game. Who wins by seeing this game fail? Well, I guess Rockstar does, but Rockstar's going to win, period. Take-Two's always going to win, because GTA 6, we talked about this. GTA 6 is going to come out. It's going to crush this game anyways. This game's going to be irrelevant next year. It doesn't matter if they do make it good in that time frame. Next year, this game's going to be irrelevant, assuming GTA 6.
And the time frame's literally like 7 months.
Yeah. So
they have 7 months to relaunch.
Yeah.
Mindseye.
So in 5 months after that, the game's going to be irrelevant because GTA 6 will be out, roughly in there. But like, so, okay. So Rockstar gains by seeing this game fail, but they don't because it's going to. So we don't know who, like, what's the fucking thought process here that you. What level of incompetence do you have to hire somebody who is a saboteur? Let's start there, I guess.
Yeah. Like if
you hired someone,
go with it.
Put them on the team, and in a position that they could supposedly sabotage your game. Are you incompetent? Because that's my thought. Okay. Now that aside,
no words.
that aside, external saboteurs. Who? Are they talking about gamers who say the game sucks and are just discrediting the game, like review bombing, like we're seeing with Dark and Darker, which is getting review bombed for a stupid ass reason, like, oh, I don't know, making the game more playable to players who play alone. It's a stupid reason to review bomb a game, but hey, that's modern gamers. Not our audience, obviously. You guys are great, totally, 100%. Love you guys.
$3 a month.
Patreon.com/Coindroppers.
So for reference, when Mindseye launched, it had an all-time peak of 138,686 players.
That's not a lot.
It's not. But you know what's worse? 35 players.
Oh my god.
35 people in game.
But it's saboteurs, Mike. But it's external saboteurs who made the game bad, not the game being bad itself.
No,
because that wouldn't explain why there'd be 35 people playing. The game can't be bad; it has to be sabotage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure last week I read a review that said I got this game for free, and I still feel like I need a refund. So like, I'm pretty sure that was part of last week's episode off the Steam reviews.
Oh my god.
I mean, at what point? Go ahead.
I just want to ask CEO Mark Gerard and your best bud from Rockstar Games. Do you wash your hands in the toilet when you're done shitting in the sink? Like, genuinely, I need to know. You audio listeners, I don't know if you can hear it, but Russ is dying. like can't breathe levels of dying on the other side of the screen right now.
Oh shit! God damn! That was a straight up nasty burn, dude. Oh my god!
I had to
Shit. I'm fucking
reach
crying.
way down into my old Call of Duty days to pull that out, man. That was just. But seriously though, like how fucking backwards. Like they're literally. I think I said this about someone else recently in one of our episodes. They seem like the type of people to smack their head on a countertop and then blame the fridge.
Yeah. 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 Like, talk about just zero accountability, just not owning your end of like the issues at all. It just that level of just complete detachment, be like, no, our game's great. Sabotage is to blame. How do you explain the issues people have clearly documented playing your game? Sabotage. How? What? Just wash your hands in the toilet. God damn it. So good. Oh, man.
Put that shit on a shirt.
It's just going to be like one of those, like, the wake up game sleep shirts or whatever that shows like the bathroom style figures. It's just that, but it's a guy shitting in the sink and then washing his hands in the toilet. Oh, fuck.
So, moving on. I'm just gonna move on to the comments because some of these are great. Andy Chalk, you're probably never gonna hear this, but Andy Chalk, you are a great fucking writer. So what third comment down, what got me is the reference. You were like, wait, save it. Stop it. Get some help.
Perfect use of Michael Jordan. Perfect use of Stop it. Get some help.
And then the next one after that, which you'll probably get because you enjoyed the Far Cry games. Mm-hmm. Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is?
I just, man, this is so disappointing because I really was looking forward to Mindseye. I really wanted it to be a good game. It looked way more interesting to me than like your standard, GTA style game. So I'm really disappointed, and now it's laughable. Obviously, if the last 5 minutes weren't clue enough, it's laughable how bad they have mishandled
the
this.
Just like, the rest of the comments are all just like, the copium is strong with this one.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, it's not good. But yeah, they went from almost 140,000 concurrent players to right now there are 35 people playing the game.
God damn.
Yep.
Boy, I guess Build a Rocket Boy is going to be shutting down. The game will not be getting better. Like, I don't see them surviving this. I really don't. How long have they been working on this project? It's their only project.
Yeah. The only other project that they, quote unquote, have been working on, not really, because they bought the developer that's working on it, is their multiplayer shooter, Ascendant.
Yeah.
So, it's oh god, it's another fucking extraction shooter too.
Yeah, it's that like one they showed off at VGA's. I don't remember which, but it was like the Hurricane comes in and they're shooting. They got like the exoskeletons and all that. Yeah, it's another extraction. Extractions are the new roguelikes. Like everybody's making them now. Everybody is making them. To the point where like, okay, it's going to be lame soon, and then we're going to go back to team-based matchmaking multiplayer games, and then we're going to go back to it's a cyclical cycle, right? So
yeah, yep. Zombies already making a comeback.
Zombies never left. I don't give a fuck what anybody said. Zombies have always been cool.
Yeah, but like for the gaming part of it, like zombies, they've been around, but not as like prevalent. If that makes sense. Whereas like if you think of like The Walking Dead.
But I mean, in games, like DayZ's still really fucking good. 7 Days to Die finally came out of early access last year, or the year before.
Yeah, those have been around since like The Walking Dead came around.
Sure, so I guess that's true.
they are big now, but they weren't prevalent then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And video gaming has a lot of similarities when it comes to like TV and like movies and like the current fad. And like right now, we're working our way back to vampires. After that, we're gonna go to some other
fucking ninjas
horror.
Bring me goddamn ninjas. Bring back Tenchu.
So yeah, it's even if Mindseye doesn't survive, the shitty thing is that Ascendant and the studio that's in charge of putting that game together is also probably going with them.
Yep.
Play Fusion, that's what it is.
But
yeah. It's unfortunate, but also like, how fucking disconnected are you?
Yeah, it's almost like disappointing, right? Like a bunch of ex Rockstar devs got together and said, you know what we should do? We should make a competitor to the game we were just making. Even though we know our previous employer is making exactly that.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to call out the devs. People like people. They follow people for whatever reason they follow. But what the fuck were you guys thinking, following somebody telling you to make a game that was going to rival the sequel to the game you just got finished making?
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if like at least half of the studio was kind of just sitting there confused and like pointing off in the direction. Audio listeners, you should watch the YouTube VOD. Pointing off in the direction, confused, and like thinking about speaking up, but then they were like, money.
Yeah, I mean,
now that's not even happening. So
I don't know. I wish I had a better grasp on how those conversations go. Right? Like I wish I knew more about I know a decent amount about the development process, but like nowhere near enough to like understand the decisions, to follow somebody, why nobody spoke up. Like, why would you choose to go to the studio with this guy and found this studio if you don't believe he's going to hear? I don't understand the mindset of Mindseye.
It's the same mindset that's blaming everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Fair.
Being so delusional that you think you're going to be able to do the same thing that your previous employer did. And then when that fails, your delusion goes to, it's everyone else's fucking fault.
So there is actually, that's something that I have been made aware of, and it's something you like, it's stereotypical, but it's actually true. If you've watched Grandma's Boy, right? JP in that movie, he actually is a very stereotypical like creative director lead kind of situation, where the power and the influence and the prestige really goes to their head, because the majority of these people are introverted people who have been kind of weird or quirky and ignored most of their life, and now all of a sudden they make something and people love it, and they've got this huge influence, whether it's in the community, in the studio, among his peers, whatever. Now you've got this sudden influence, and it really inflates that ego to a point that like is super dangerous if unchecked. And more often than not, like we saw it with Bungie to a certain extent, when it goes unchecked, the game gets worse. Or you do things like release a product that's a competition to your previous employer that's significantly worse, and then go on blaming other people rather than looking at and going, okay, yeah, I see where we made missteps. So like, honestly, at this point, the best thing that can happen to Build a Rocket Boy is they disappear, because they have failed to take accountability and learn from their mistakes. And if you can't learn from your mistake, there is no reason you should be continuing to do what you're doing. Mistakes are okay. I have to tell myself that a lot. I've had to learn to deal with mistakes that I've made and cope with them. And the important thing about mistakes is that's where we learn. That is where we grow, is with those mistakes. So moving that into a business sense, the failure that is Mindseye, the CEO and the team had a chance to step back and go, what did we do wrong? What went wrong? Not even put the ownership on themselves, but just step back and go, what went wrong? And analyze it critically. And I don't know if the team did that. I hope the team did. Maybe some of them didn't like the project to be, I don't know, but like the fact that their face,
because then they wouldn't have had this information to talk about. Someone released the information. So
that's fair.
Had to have,
yeah. But the face of the company just went, nah, it's Sabotage. You, sir, need to get the fuck out. And I hope somebody shits in your Denny's Grand Slam, because Jesus Christ, you have no accountability. So I don't know, man. It's wild. It's super disappointing. I know I was looking forward to it. I know Tim at one point was looking forward to it. I think you were looking forward to it too, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah.
I even fucking predicted that the game was gonna flop.
Yeah.
And
for different reasons.
I even mentioned, I think I even mentioned that one of the biggest reasons was that they were planning to release the open world aspect of it later.
Yeah.
But your competition that you are specifically pinpointing for this game is open world. So like why wouldn't you build the open world part?
They had, there's a lot of questions. There was also the article we talked about where it said that they had like a plan for the game to expand over 10 years or like be a 10-year internal game to where like it told a story over 10 years or something like that. And their idea seemed to outreach their capabilities.
Yeah.
And
to like kind of build on that in specifics, they wanted to do the entire story, then release the open world part.
Yeah. Which is weird. Real weird.
Good luck with that.
I'm just thinking about that, thinking about like the way Grand Theft Auto 5 story plays. I couldn't imagine that being a mission-based only game, and then all of a sudden at the end, the game opens up. Like, I can't imagine that working well.
I'm gonna compare. If they release this game with open world, like just baked in right out of the gate, at least they would have had a chance, like with Saints Row, the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
The game is not good, but there's things you can do to pass the time. I still go back and play that game sometimes because I don't feel like playing Call of Duty, or I don't feel like playing PUBG, or I don't feel like playing Grand Theft Auto. I want to play something more stupid and like somewhat funny. So I usually pick Saints Row. Or
sure.
Honestly, now I'm going to probably pick Saints Row the third because I can only take so much of the Saints Row reboot. But like the whole aspect of them not releasing it with the biggest part of the core gameplay.
Yeah.
Fucking mind blowing.
Yeah. What a weird development choice.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Play Fusion.
Yeah.
If you manage to release your shooter and it's good, I will play it.
We'll see. But speaking of poor decision making and really bad planning, Switch 2 has some updates. 2 of them, in fact.
We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 until next fucking year, I swear to God.
Yeah, absolutely. Neither of which are good. So, first of all, let's talk about this. Nintendo has set proprietary protocols on their Switch 2's USB-C port so that most third-party docks and accessories won't work.
So there's 2 parts to the reasoning. That's, I want to say, the like leftovers of why. The biggest reason is that a lot of the Switch 1 jailbreaking was hardware fault.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be, sticking a little like you're forking the current of the actual like copper pads inside of where the Joy-Cons slid in. I think you'd short pad 1 and pad 9 or something like that, and it would cause it to boot into the recovery bootloader, and then from there you could plug it into your computer via USB-C and upload a bunch of packages to get it to jailbreak, and then you can start modding.
Sure.
So their air quotes solution to prevent that was to essentially create a resistance. I don't know the term. It's a specific part of the software that reads the resistance and the amperage inside of the USB-C port when you plug it in. And there's a very narrow gap of what is coded as the officially licensed Nintendo gap, I guess. So even just plugging in like fucking Ugreen charger, those super fast chargers that everybody buys for their phones.
Yeah.
I have one that I use it on my MacBook a lot. That thing will brick the Switch too, because it's the wrong voltage and the wrong amperage. So I'm clearly trying to jailbreak my console. Yeah.
There is... I just... There's a... Having a logical reasoning for doing an evil thing doesn't make it any less evil. Like, I don't think Nintendo is hurting anyone on purpose. Like, I don't think they set out to do this to hurt people on purpose. I don't think that was their goal. However,
it was to prevent the jailbreaking.
Sure.
This is the aftermath of that.
Right. Your intentions might be good, but if your actions are evil, does your intention really fucking matter? Because what we're talking about here is Nintendo. You make children's consoles for children. Adults buy them. We play them. We buy them as well. But the majority of people buying them are buying them for their kids or to use and let their kids use. Now you're telling me that if I bought one and gave it to my daughter, and being as intelligent as my daughter is, playing the Switch 2, oh no, it's going to die. Let me grab this charger, plug it in. System's broke.
Yeah, because a kid under the age of 10, all they know is
plug in.
I gotta plug it in.
Not
that I need to use the actual fucking Nintendo brick, or like not that I can't plug it into my mom's phone cable. Like
you have now cost parents and families hundreds of dollars in an attempt to stop a problem that, let's be honest, how many people jailbroke their Switches? I can tell you
there's a lot, but like probably on like the mass scale, probably less than like 20% of the actual Switch
easily
users.
I would be surprised if it was more than 10% of Switch users.
Yeah.
So what the you're screwing over normal people to stop 10% from doing a thing that you don't like. Nintendo, you're fucking evil. Like you're not killing people, you're not fascist, you're not socialist, you're not any of the like buzzwords that people associate with evil. You're just fucking evil. And how it still how Nintendo still has fans is beyond me. Like
the other thing that's probably worth noting that I'm sure they're going to end up facing sooner rather than later. This specific practice they're doing is 100% easily considered predatory.
That's what I was going to say next too. Like, how have they not been fucking sued yet? Like, this seems like grounds for a class action lawsuit.
100%. That's what's going to happen. Is someone? It's probably going to happen. It's going to take a few hundreds of someone's, but someone is going to probably run into the same situation where their kid, who's maybe like 6 or 7 years old, is going to just pick up a random charger that they know works for their tablet or for their daddy's phone or for their mommy's tablet or whatever.
Yeah.
And plug the Switch into it. And then the Switch is broken, and now this kid's freaking out because their Switch is broken. So, yeah, it's bound to happen.
Dude,
sooner or later.
As a parent and somebody whose kid is in almost Switch age, if that happened, I mean, I'm never buying a Switch 2. I never had an intention to in the first place. But like, boy, I'd have some words for Nintendo.
It's honestly like they set it up for families to basically like the only way to play it is to leave it in the dock.
Yeah.
Which will bring us to our next topic here soon. But like, if the risk is after taking it out of the dock and you plug it into the wrong fucking port or the wrong
what's
charger,
the fucking point of it being handheld if you can't use it in handheld?
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah. You should have just made another fucking GameCube. Call it the Slate. Fuck it.
The game slate. Oh shit, dude. I'm blown away. I really am. Like, I don't understand the oversight that doesn't happen to go, hey, you know, we'd make this stuff for kids.
Oversight, dog.
Right. Like, that's what I mean.
I guarantee it was probably like, I figured out a way to stop all the people from jailbreaking our consoles. Okay, let's do it. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
That's how that ended. That was the whole conversation.
In other words, here's my advice to anybody out there who wants a Switch 2. Don't.
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 Nintendo don't.
Yes, Nintendo don't. Get a Steam Deck because it does what Nintendo don't. Mm-hmm. You can jailbreak that. You can put a Switch emulator on your Steam Deck.
And here's the other thing. The modifications to actually dump the system software and the actual like hardware keys and everything on the Nintendo Switch 2 are already well underway.
Yep.
It is very much under wraps. There's maybe like one post from one of the lead quote unquote developers of this solution, whatever it will be. And it's only a matter of time before people who are on their computers will be able to just play Switch 2 games.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to play multiplayer games because, like,
right,
you can't play on Nintendo servers.
Legend of Zelda, Metroid Prime, Mario Kart. Yeah.
Yeah, you can still play it locally with your friends. I've done it before. I can hook up 4 controllers to my computer and play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. No problem.
So in short here, but buy a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
It's better. And it costs about the same. And Valve isn't going to brick your console because you used the wrong charger. So, but like I said, we had 2 things to discuss with the Switch. The second of which is, how would you like to fry an egg on the back of your Switch 2?
What happens if you don't take your Switch 2 out of the dock ever?
Yeah. The Switch 2 apparently is super overheating, and users who are playing Cyberpunk 2077 report crashes and freezing, and
not even just that game.
Yeah,
it's everything from Cyberpunk 2077 all the way down to light shit like Pokemon and Splatoon.
Yeah, it's bad.
Pokemon.
Yeah, it's bad.
2D side-scrolling Pokemon.
Do we have an actual temperature? Yeah. Okay. So the issue
115, 116 degrees.
Yeah.
That's what it says, I think.
Yeah. 117 degrees Fahrenheit. So during their testing, their overall thermal testing of the Switch 2, our unit reached 117 degrees Fahrenheit, 47 degrees Celsius when docked. In handheld, this dropped to 102 Fahrenheit, which, to put this in perspective, that's about 40 degrees-ish, 30 to 40 degrees-ish less than what a fucking GPU hits in a gaming laptop. So, like, not crazy hot, but still way too fucking hot for a handheld. What is the thermals for the Switch or the Steam Deck? Let's Steam Deck.
Not that hot.
Yeah. Thermal ratings. Let's see.
For reference, the MacBook I have is the 12-inch MacBook from 2017, and it has an i7, 16 gigs of RAM. There's no fans in it. This thing gets about as hot as probably 120 degrees Fahrenheit if I really push it, and it is too hot to type on the keyboard when it gets like that.
Yeah.
Imagine holding a console for longer than 10 minutes at that temperature.
What's crazy is, like, it just... Like, it comparatively, the Steam Deck actually gets hotter. But I think the Steam Deck, like, dissipates the heat. Yeah. It's way better because, like, apparently the Steam Deck, well, and this is the CPU temperature, I believe, so it's the overall temperature. Thermal throttling kicks in at around 95 degrees Celsius on the Steam Deck, but it can handle up to 100 degrees Celsius, but shuts down at 105, and normally it operates between 65 and 85 degrees Celsius, so still very hot. Much hotter than the Steam Deck, or much hotter than the Switch 2. But, like, the Steam Deck, I can tell you, does not hold that heat in the console the way it seems like the Switch 2 does.
The entire LCD and, like, the frame of the console in the image, and, like, for the video side, I will grab the image and put it here, but it's glowing red.
Yeah. It is.
Like, it looks like it's genuinely uncomfortable to hold because it will just cook your fingers.
Yeah. And it like, we talked about how fucking thin and shitty the screen is.
Yeah.
How much?
I'll also grab an image from the Steam Deck.
Yeah, thermals.
But like, you'll be able to see that it's literally like a circle and it goes like up in one specific direction from behind the screen. It doesn't space out across the whole. Like, it does, like, it dissipates accurately, but not so much that like your hands will burn or sweat.
Yeah.
It's just wow, Nintendo. Just going back to last week when I called you out for your lack of QC or QA or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just what the fuck, man. Yeah, so people, they were playing Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
But also less hardware-intensive titles like Pokemon and Splatoon. According to the report, users are reporting game freezes and crashes, as well as fans going to overdrive in order to try and dissipate the heat. The multitude of reports are from Japanese users, from X, and are machine translated. Okay, some users reported crashing and periodic freezes. But only postulate that thermal performance might be to blame. The fan's going nuts, so maybe it's overheating.
It makes me wonder if this goes back to the QC problem. It makes me wonder if they just didn't apply enough thermal paste, if they, just did not build the components correctly, if they did not assemble the system with the same level of quality across the board. This could be an isolated incident. This could be a widespreading incident. Like, it could affect, a couple of batches. It could affect millions.
This user on Reddit, Nitro Walrus 732, said his Switch 2 displayed a message saying that the system was overheating and entering sleep mode twice. Both times while playing Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition docked, so it had extra fans blowing into it.
Jesus.
This makes me think of those old third-party docks that you could sit your PS3 and Xbox 360 on, but the fans would blow in the wrong direction, so it would just cause them to overheat and shut down.
Yep. It's just it again could be a quality control thing. Maybe their dock did have their fans installed incorrectly, and they legitimately were working backwards. Like, if we've seen an issue with the panels, we've verified, right? Not we, but there has been a verified issue with the panels, and there's variation with that issue. Who's to say there's not issues in other places?
Yeah.
So,
like I said, we're going to be talking about the Switch 2 in some form and fashion for the next 6 to 8 months, all the way until next year at some point.
I would love to have somebody comment on these and tell us their experience with their Switch, because we're looking at these in a vacuum, right? Like, we're looking at this through the lens of the internet, and as we know, the internet in general, including us, can be inaccurate at times. We try to be as accurate as possible, but we don't get it right all the time.
Yeah. Especially with this article specifically, it says that the Japanese users on X, that all of their tweets or X's or whatever the hell we're calling them, were all machine translated.
Yeah. So there could be a translation issue, but it sounds like that's not the case. But I don't know, if you have a Switch 2, leave us a comment. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you think, if we're way off the mark, if you haven't experienced any issues, if you think it's the best fucking system ever. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I have my opinions, but my opinions are based on Nintendo as a company and my refusal to support them at this point. Not because I think it's going to change anything. I just don't give a shit about the product they make anymore. They've ruined Legend of Zelda, so that was the only thing I bought Nintendo for, so I don't care now.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a QC thing, because Linus Tech, Marquise Brownlee, and one other tech YouTuber, they did a review, a legit, Austin Evans. They did a legit review of the Nintendo Switch 2, and I don't recall them talking about thermals to an extent that it was uncomfortably hot. So it very well could just be this batch is defunct.
Yeah. Which arguably is worse than, I don't know if that's worse. I don't know. If your QC sucks, that's a big issue. But I guess if your overall design
especially for a company as big as Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could you imagine if Microsoft fucking released the Series X and everybody literally was my Series X keeps turning off and saying something about thermal, Could you imagine the size of Microsoft and having that type of QC issue?
Yeah.
It's fucking. Just I don't. Why are we here, dude? Just to suffer.
Well, I'll tell you why we're here. We're here to talk about games, Mike. We're here to talk about games and news, and I think we've spent enough time dealing with Nintendo. So we're going to move on to a new game from a new indie Korean developer called Midnight Walkers. This is from studio One Way Ticket, which, good name. For an indie studio, real good name. There's not a lot of not a lot of studios come out there with like really good punch names, but One Way Ticket Studios, good name. They were founded in 2023. They're about a 36-person team with, I don't think it's a combined, obviously not a combined, but with about 15 years of experience making games. Midnight Walkers is going to be made in UE5, and it is a zombie survival game. It's on Steam. There's a playtest you can sign up for. We watched the trailer. I did a little bit of digging. I want to hear your thoughts, Mike. What do you think?
So a lot of what I was thinking of as I was watching the trailer, I played and we talked about this game a couple times. Last time we talked about it, I actually ended up just making fun of it because of the Steam Fest thing that they were part of. Nequan Lost Paradise. It is a zombie survival extraction PvEvP looter shooter type, which is taking place in a fictional town. It's somewhere in Korea, ironically enough, called Nequan. And that game is being made by the developers from Dave the Diver. So I actually have really good hopes for that game in general. This kind of reminded me of that, but in first person, because Nequan Lost Paradise, or Last Paradise, whichever one it is all third person. It's kind of going back to where I was saying off camera. They made the creative inspiration of making this game and then going first person with it.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I like the idea of an extraction shooter zombie type ordeal. As much as I loved DayZ, that's like the one thing I feel like DayZ is starting to lack is the gameplay loop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So having a game like Nequan Lost Paradise or now the Midnight Walkers, where you have to deal with people and also zombies and not lose all your shit, it provides a good gameplay loop.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there's another game that tried not to be an extraction zombie game that lasted all of a week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
would you say the name of this development studio is F-Fantastic?
It was a really F-fantastic name. Yeah, that studio had a really F-fantastically good name. Yeah.
Did you hear that they're trying to come back?
Again? They've done it twice now.
Everyone on Twitter was like, sit the fuck down.
This is their third time. How many times do they need to die? How many times we got to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love young people.
Oh, shit. So this came across my desk. Of course, it had one of those stupid fucking like, this game looks like mixed with yeah, right? Like, you know, when they go like, oh, it's Horizon meets Lego Legend of Zelda. Like, oh, okay, well, that's not what they said about this, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about? Those lazy ass articles. Yeah. They compared it to Dying Light, and I can see why. It looks like the majority of the combat is first person melee. And it made me have a thought from another article I saw previously that posed the question as to why so many Korean and Chinese games look derivative. And I couldn't help but think this looks kind of derivative. This looks like they literally took Dying Light 1, and I was like, what if we made it an extraction? Like, it doesn't look original. It doesn't look unique. It looks gameplay wise like Dying Light, meets take your fucking pick extraction shooter. Like it doesn't seem to do anything new or unique or be different other than the fact that it's zombies and extraction, and that's been a thing for a while. So I don't know. There's a playtest. I got into the playtest. I'll check it out, but like I'm at a point kind of like when Souls games got overly popular. I'm kind of just getting to a point where I'm over extraction shooters. Everything's an extraction shooter. Arc Raiders, Marathon, Hawk Ops, fucking Legacy, Sorcery and Steel, just Eternal Strands. Like what the and not everything has it was not everything needs to be a roguelike or a roguelite, and now it's not everything has to be an extraction shooter. It's like one idea takes root and makes a game popular, and then everybody follows suit. And I hate that about this industry. We go through waves of just the same fucking games coming out from everyone because somebody does something and everybody goes, that game's really fun. I want to make a game like that. It's just an echo chamber for years.
Honestly, I think if Techland released a extraction shooter DLC for Dying Light, that would probably be better than anything anybody's trying.
I mean, sure. Like, dude, again,
need another one, but I feel like they would know what the fuck they're doing.
Go back 5 years. It was Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Like, go back before that. It was roguelike. Like, stop. Get some help.
God damn it.
But I just... It goes back. It's still the same issue I always have with a lot of games now, which is everything wants all of your time all the time. And I don't have that much time. I don't have that capability. So with every single game competing with it, every single game across genres that should not be competing, right? Like zombie survival games should not be competing with run and gun looter shooter. Warframe should not be competing with Tarkov. Like, stop. Get some help.
Such a fucking statement. I've never in my life expected someone to say Warframe and Tarkov in the
exactly.
same fucking sentence.
Diablo 4 should not be competing with Black Hawk Down. Stop. I just can we please just go back to narrative single player games.
I will. Last episode, 2 episodes ago, I told you about Off the Grid.
Yeah.
That game made by the director of
another extraction. The like mech or like cyborg looter shooter extraction game, I think, right?
Yeah. And I had said that they were going to be releasing a battle royale mode soon. They didn't release it yet, but they did add a deathmatch mode, and it's not limited. It's like permanently in the game. That right now is better than the overpopulation that is extraction shooters.
Absolutely. Dude, one of my favorite, like, oh god, just going back, Battlefield 4, still to this day, the second best Battlefield game ever. I'll fucking fight you. Only it's second only to Bad Company 2. I'll fucking fight you. I miss the days of being like, I've got an hour to kill. Let's play some team deathmatch. Let's play some big team battle.
I need you to fucking print a Coindrop shirt. That's like the one you have now, but on the back it says Bad Company 2 is the best, and I'll fucking fight you.
I feel like if I wear that to PAX, there's gonna be a lot of blood.
Swing or get swung, boy.
I'm just gonna be rage baiting everybody. But no, like I just there was something nice about like just jump in and jump out, right? It's the battle pass, it's the constant grind for gear. The game loop is fun, but only for so long. And when everybody is doing the same fucking loop all the time, battle pass, added content, constant updates, you are splitting every single player base of every single game that does that. Can we please just go back to the days where you had MMOs and you had multiplayer games and there was no crossover? You didn't have multiplayer games that got monthly updates and battle pass and season content. That's an MMO thing. Stop.
I mean, yeah, it also kind of goes back to like a lot of extraction shooters, they on Steam in their description, like MMO comes up at least once.
It's not an MMO. Like, I hate to, Destiny isn't an MMO. Destiny is a good game. It's a great shooter. It is not an MMO. It has social spaces and it has instance spaces. It is not an MMO. Sorry. I refuse to allow that game to be called an MMO. And it's sandbox, right? Like, I would say Rust and Ark and 7 Days to Die, not 7 Days to Die because those are like locally hosted server games, but like Rust and Ark and probably Dune, MMOs, right? You've got a server, and even those I wouldn't say massive. Like that's the thing people are missing. MMO, massive. Massive does not mean 200 people. Massive means tens of thousands of people. Yeah, that's massive.
There has to be. Massive is like there has to be thousands of instances all running at the same time for all the hundreds of thousands of players that are consistently online at the same time. Like, it would honestly make more sense to just call these RPGs.
Yes.
Online RPGs.
Yes.
And leave it at that.
Yes. Or just MO RPGs. They do not deserve it does. They do not deserve the title of MMO. Sure, there's hundreds of thousands of people playing Destiny. There's like 20 people at any time in the tower or any of the social spaces because there's multiple instances of those social spaces going. Mm-hmm. In a server on Final Fantasy 14, that's not the case. There's one instance of Limsa. And there is so many people there. If you're not running a really good system, your shit's going to bog the fuck down. Or you better have your particle effects off because your shit's going to lag. So I'm ranting. I realize that. It's really frustrating to see the constant arc of games become the same thing over and over from everyone. Because like it doesn't... It seems like people making the games now are reactively like it's the same thing with like content creators now. There's not a lot of people making original content. There's people making content and then the majority of people reacting to the content. It's fucking stupid and lazy and I hate that shit. And modern game design arcs or modern projects seem to be doing the same thing. One thing takes off, everybody looks at it, points at it and goes, I want to do that. Why? Do something different.
Get help.
Get help.
Go outside, motherfucker.
Touch grass. Come up with a unique take, a unique idea. What is different? Tell me. What do you think is different about Midnight Walkers that makes it a standout extraction shooter? Because I don't see it.
Yep.
Extraction shooter used to be much like Battle Royale or much like Battlefront or Battlefield with Rush, right? Rush was a really cool take on like one-sided capture the flag. That was really unique. They took a simple idea that was in most shooters before that. Halo, Call of Duty, most games had a capture the flag mode. And Battlefield went like, what if we did something different and make it like attack and defend? But as you take that point, it moves it down a unique, cool take on an idea. And sure, that's one mode, but like, again, extraction shooter arguably is a mode. You can build a whole game around it. We're seeing that happen. We're seeing that be a thing. But like, I don't know, man. I guess I'm just burned out on it. I'm burned out on Souls-like. Can we please just get single-player narrative games again? Or like multiplayer games that I'd be like, hey man, I got a couple hours, let's just play some matches. Shit, dude, I'm about to go back to my abusive ex-girlfriend and start playing PUBG, because at least with that game, I don't have to worry about like missing out or content or all this shit. It's the same damn game every time you play it, with the same 5 maps that it's been for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's reliable. It's consistent. It's not changing. I'm not fighting for gear. I'm dropping, I'm getting the loot I get, and that makes the gameplay fun.
Honestly, and it's weird to say this, but like the extraction shooter genre has gotten so overpopulated that like fucking Call of Duty DMZ is the most simplified version of it, and that because of that is arguably now the best version of an extraction shooter to just sit down and play. Not something you have to like worry so much about, not something that you have to like be a sweaty fucking kid at. Like, we're not talking about Tarkov level extraction shooter. We're just talking about like just sit down, play, fucking shoot some AI, shoot the enemy team, and get the fuck out. Like, just super simple, just like that.
Yeah.
At this point, DMZ is like the best version of extraction shooters.
I mean, I'm sure there's ones that are
it's free to play.
Yeah, you know, hey, you got me there.
Part of Warzone.
You got me there. But like, just to put it in, I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Extraction shooters. Okay, so defining extraction type games is a little bit difficult, but I'm gonna give you this short list that I see here. You've got Dark and Darker, Hunt Showdown, Arena Breakout Infinite, Gray Zone Warfare, Deceiver Inc., Arc Raiders, Helldivers 2, Incursion Red River, Legacy Steel and Sorcery, The Forever Winter, Convergence, Marathon, Into the Radius VR, Contractors Showdown, Tom Clancy's Division, Heartland, sorry, Dungeon Board, Escape from Tarkov, Delta Force, Lost Light, Rainbow Six Extraction, and Deep Rock Galactic, just to name a couple.
Yeah, a couple. 2. Uh-huh.
Yeah, just 2. 2 or 3.
2 fucking 20 dozen.
2 or 3. And these have all come out in the last 5 years. I think Hunt Showdown is the earliest. I think that came out... Yeah, that came out in 2018.
Hunt Showdown is arguably a really good extraction shooter.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure.
That actually stands out among like a bunch of them, because it's...
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Dropping in a bayou, hunting fucking typical bayou monsters, and then you have to like take the essence of that monster and bounce the fuck out before you get like preyed on by a bunch of third partiers.
Yeah. And it seems like a great game, but again, it's another fucking arguably it's one of the better ones because it's one of the first ones, right? Like it did it right, it did it well, it made progression good, but
stuck to it.
Dude, just it's like Battle Royale all over again. It's you're gonna release a shooter, where's your Battle Royale mode? You're gonna release a shooter, where's your extraction mode? The only thing I can see from Midnight Walkers that makes me slightly interested in it is the fact that it seems like the majority of the combat is melee based, which honestly looks like they ripped it straight out of Dying Light. Like straight out of Dying Light 1. Animations look almost identical. There's seems to be some level of dismemberment. It might just be head exploding because that's the most of what I see blowing up. I don't see limbs coming off like we saw with Ill, which looked really fucking cool, which I swear to God, if that's an extraction game, I'm going to be annoyed. But like, I just... It's such a... We talked about last week, Blood Message. And how that game looks like they're trying to do everything Ubisoft failed to do. Which also feels a little bit derivative. But it looks good. It looks like they're taking what Ubisoft failed to do and making it better. Potentially. Again, we talked about that. But like, this just looks like another company going like, hey, people make money off of this. Let's make this. And I feel like that's becoming too popular and too common in the gaming industry, that it's about money, not the project. And I think ultimately the devs are just happy to be working on something, the people with the boots on the ground, right? Like they're just passionate about making games and they're happy to be making a game. It's the people whose vision that I'm calling into question, not the people actually doing the work. I just want to be clear on that. So, I don't know. I'm going to check out Midnight Walkers. I got into the playtest, so I'll probably install it tonight and check it out.
That quick? Jesus.
Yep. But I am not...
I got in too.
Yeah, so we can check it out if you want. I'm not expecting to be thrilled. You know what's fucked? Let's talk about this. There's an extraction shooter we recently played, Mike, that you and I are fucking juiced for. Just to make it clear that like these can be done well, in my opinion, and there are some that I do like. What'd we play? Do you remember? We played it with Beasky. Jump Ship.
Was that
Jump Ship?
Are we considering that an extraction?
Is it not?
Like it has the elements.
Isn't it by definition an extraction shooter? You go in, you get your loot. If you die, you come back with nothing. If you leave, you come back with your loot. Isn't that by definition an extraction shooter?
Yeah, but again, this is the thing where you're talking about like they do it differently. So
exactly. And it's
you
fun.
Have your hub area, and then you have to like get in your ship and go do missions, and then you can leave the ship, and like there's the whole mechanic of like walking on floating rocks and jumping onto enemy ships and stealing all their shit.
And then the fact that like you don't just take damage on your ship, you actually have fires and nuclear radiation leaks and shields you have to rebuild, and like you actually work on a ship.
Yeah,
it's very cool. So like that's an example of an extraction shooter where the team went, this is a cool idea. Where can we take this? And it feels like that concept is lacking a lot more nowadays in modern games than it ever has before. Because I feel like originally most people looked at a concept and went, that's a cool idea. What can we do to make it better? Look at the original Fable. The first Fable was the first game ever to have your character physically transform through the gameplay based on your decisions. Yeah. First game ever. And there's still not a lot of games that do that. There's more than zero, but there's not a lot. That's a system that for the most part was Lionhead's and has been gone from gaming for the most part. You've got morality systems. Red Dead Redemption 2 has a morality system, just like Fable did, but it doesn't affect your character appearance as far as I know. I don't think you're going to go all sithed out.
The way you react.
Right?
It just affects the way you react in certain cinematics and situations.
Yeah. So, like...
Yeah. I mean, that's also like the Nemesis engine. That was going to be in... what was it? Was it...
Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, it was going to be in some other game that came out recently, and I think it had to do with one of the Star Wars games.
Oh, really?
It ended up getting shot down because Warner Brothers, like the way they patented it, like they just like fucked it for everybody.
Yeah, and then they locked it away after they shut down Monolith.
Or no, it was two games. It was gonna be the one that comes to mind immediately is the Suicide Squad game.
Okay.
They were going to rebrand the Nemesis engine for that game and basically set it up so as you progress through and complete missions and take out all the like encampments or whatever, you were going to come across new grunts that eventually lead you to whoever the next fucking boss is that you're trying to go after.
Gotcha.
But this again goes, now we're pivoting over to they were going to make it another fucking live service game. So they pulled the Nemesis system out of the original idea. And then when they released the game, neither were in it.
Yeah.
But it was still structured like a live service game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just stop fucking doing that.
People are going to...
Stop it. Get help.
I guess that's the title of this episode. Stop it. Get help.
Yes.
People are also going to go, but Russ, like you hate Dragon Age Veilguard, which on paper I should love, right? Like it's my favorite franchise, was one of my favorite franchises, was a single player game, was a story-based narrative game, but it sucked. Yeah. It was absolutely trash. So like you can fail on both sides of this spectrum.
But that's also another example of like the game was structured with the intent of it's going to be a live service game, and then they didn't add those features to it. They didn't add that part of the game, so it's just.
And then they ripped it out and had to completely rebuild the entire framework of the game and completely altered everything. So it's weird. Like, it feels like every now and then we get a glimpse of like, hey, these games are coming and they're going to be great. Prime example, where the fuck is Masquerade, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2? Where is that? The Chinese room said they postponed it by a couple of months at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It was supposed to release last year.
They are also the same developers that made Blacklight Retribution.
Mm-hmm. Which was a phenomenal shooter.
Yeah. It was literally the best free-to-play arcade shooter that honestly probably would have still held up with Call of Duty today.
Yeah.
I remember joining their server. I want to say it was sometime last year. Just to like ask, because some of the original devs from that game are still with the company. A lot of them moved on because once they bought out, like all the developers that like got the bigger paychecks, they just fucking dipped out. Like they're living their life. And I hit up a couple of the developers and I was talking to them in their Discord and I asked them like what was going on. Initially, I started asking them what was going on with the old game because it's not gone from Steam. So it's technically not abandoned because it's still in my account. It's still in everybody's account. It's still playable. It's just there's no.
Are you talking about
official
Bloodhunt?
Hosting any? No, we're talking about
Bloodlines.
Blacklight.
Oh, Blacklight. Okay, Blacklight. Yeah.
I'm making my way to that part of the conversation. And they had mentioned that a lot of the reason that the game is kind of the person I was speaking to, I can't remember his Discord name, but he said specifically up in the air is because a lot of the licensing for the audio engines and optimizations they were using wasn't renewed.
Right.
So the game isn't abandoned. So I guess fun little tidbit of news if you happen to be listening to this. So I started talking to them about Bloodlines. Bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me that as much as they could tell me, like within their NDA contract shit.
Sure.
The game was basically playable. I won't say done. Playable, but they were going through and finalizing a bunch of testing.
Yeah, I mean, when they delayed it by a couple of months at the beginning of the year, which arguably, like, it's been 3 months, so I guess a couple, but like they said the game was done and they were adding polish. That was the last communication we had, and it's been radio silence to my knowledge since then. So,
and I heard that a year or potentially even 2 years ago from like one of the developers in the server.
So I don't know. I'm hoping they're going to be at PAX. They were at PAX last year, not Bloodlines 2, but developers adjacent to that from the Chinese room. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping I could be like, hey man, can we like schedule an interview? Because
where's the game?
Yeah, give game, damn it, give game. But anyways, Midnight Walkers, I guess we'll play it, Mike and I, and we'll report back next week.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll play it tonight, but it is something I want to play with you at some point.
Okay. When you're ready to play, let me know. It has to be sooner rather than later because it is a play test, so I don't know when it ends. So we'll need to look into that.
I don't even think they mention when it ends. I think it's just...
I don't know.
They'll probably announce the ending later.
Yeah, but... we'll check it out. That is kind of our main topics. Boy, I just thought about this and was like, I was going to send this to the developers. I was going to send this to One Way Ticket Studios. I don't think they want to hear what I have to say. Sorry, guys.
Oops.
I'm still going to send it to them, but maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see.
I'd say it was constructive. Like, we didn't like...
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say like the game looks like shit, but it doesn't look... I don't know.
It doesn't stick out is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a bad piece of feedback.
Yeah.
It just means that you need to work on something to make it stick out more.
Yeah. I don't know.
At this point, it's up to you if you want to take that at face value or tell us to fuck off. I don't...
Yeah. I mean, that's, pretty much. It doesn't have a hook, right? Like a lot of these need good hooks. And I feel like extraction shooters often don't have good hooks. So, very rarely. Anyways, moving on. Space Marine 2 is getting a ton of new content and has recently got some new content, including new maps in a siege mode, which is their take on wave survival, where you just kind of survive as long as you can against a Tyranid horde, which sounds fun as hell. But they are getting a Tech Marine class. I'm interested. Power Axe. Double interested. And a new PvP mode called Chaos vs. Chaos. So, like, apparently Chaos just kills Chaos. Sounds interesting. Yeah, Space Marine 2 I gives me a reason to go back to it. They're adding a bunch of new content. 10.0, I guess, is their next update, which, dude, holy shit. Talk about, like, quickly moving through the development there. I figured we were on, like, 3 or 4, but apparently this next update's going to be 10.0, which is pretty great. Gives me a reason to go back to that game at some point, hopefully soon. In other news, unfortunately, Mecha Break launched, and boy, is it not great.
You could just end the sentence there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mecha Break launched.
Yeah. A game that personally I was hoping was going to be the game that brought me into these style of games. I've always wanted to like mech games and things of that nature, but I liked the original Mech Warrior, and that was really about it. So Mecha Break was supposed to be like this big end-all be-all mobile suit style game. Well, it turns out that a lot of people, I do too, a lot of people are very upset after finding out that the majority of the customization has been removed, and what hasn't been removed from the betas, this is from previous beta players, has been put behind microtransactions. So a ton of stuff that previous beta players were expecting to see has been removed, and the rest of it is now behind a paywall. Not a good call. So if you want to review bomb a game, this seems like the right one to review bomb. Not Dark and Darker for making the game more accommodating to solo players. Just, you know, my 2 cents. January is going to be a very sad month for me, and I'm sure for Tim as well. All hope of Anthem ever getting rebuilt and fixed and re-released to be the amazing, fucking groundbreaking third-person shooter that it should have and could have been will finally come to a close. In January, Anthem is being server shut down and will no longer be playable. So, it will be relegated to another dead game that is unplayable, that will sit in your library forever and collect dust, which is a goddamn travesty because that game had such fucking promise. And if EA had any... That I think is the biggest problem with Dragon Age Veilguard. They killed Anthem 2.0 for Veilguard. And Anthem 2.0 could have been so much better than Veilguard ever could have been. So
I have to finish Anthem now. I got that game for fucking free when...
I'll play it with you. I never beat it. I bought it. I will play it with you. Let's get the boys together and play some Anthem before it goes away forever.
Yeah, I got it for free when I had the 2080 Ti. It was like one of the free game redemption things that came with it.
Yeah.
And I redeemed it because like it was free, but I never touched it because apparently it was bad. So I was like, oh, then I won't waste my time. But now I have to because this fucking game's going to disappear. So. Yeah,
I'm probably going to record the gameplay and keep it for posterity. Like, I'll probably make it a series because honestly, dude, like it's rough. It's rough around the edges. I never got through all of it, but it's rough around the edges, but it's genuinely just fun. Like, it had so much potential to be great. It's genuinely just fun, and it's heartbreaking that
when people talk about it, the one common answer I get from people who are talking, not even answer, but like the commonality is that the gameplay and the story is not good, but there's something about flying around and feeling like Iron Man.
Yeah.
That they just fucking stuck.
Dude, it's so...
They got it.
It is so on point to be able to just... Yeah. It's something about the movement animations, the controls, it just feels right in the best ways possible. Yeah. It's real disappointing and heartbreaking that once again another game, this time from EA, not Ubisoft, is going to be sunsetted and no longer be playable at all in any capacity whatsoever. So
hopefully some modders get together and change that.
I hope so. I'd love to see that, but I doubt it. Who knows? More bad news. I promise, guys, we're going to get to the good stuff. It's not going to be a downer. The whole we're not going to fucking hit a peak in this episode and just go straight like stock market crash style. I promise we're going to get to some good news. But some more bad news before we do. Xbox has officially canceled Project Perfect Dark. The reimagining, I believe is the word I'm looking for. Reimagining. Of Perfect Dark that looked so promising a couple years ago. Well, the reason we didn't see it at the Microsoft Showcase is because they have canceled it. And apparently everything that we have seen was simply a vertical slice, and they were nowhere near in development, really, for the game. They got nowhere. They opened up Unreal Engine and dropped an asset into a checkerboard and said, hey, look, game, which is exactly what Mike said not to do.
Yep.
So I don't know how far they really got.
I'll give them credit. They at least added some like textures.
They did. And some shadows, some sun. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A little bit of UI elements.
In addition to Perfect Dark being canceled, Turn 10, creators of Forza, have been shut down as well. They've been shuttered down to, I think it's like 7-8 people left in the studio to just support Horizon, right?
I don't think it's 7 or 8 people. It's probably more than that. But what my issue with that is that it specifically states to support the Forza Horizon series. And that to me sounds like we're not getting another one.
Yeah. At least not from them, because I mean that's the thing, right? Like we looked at this before we started the show. Playground Entertainment, who is now making Fable, has made Forza 3, Horizon 3, Horizon 4, and Horizon 5. And
the DLC for the games.
Yeah.
But Turn 10 Studios was the founder of the Horizon series. And I'm pretty sure they still worked in partnership with Playground Games and Playground Entertainment.
Yeah.
But Playground moving to the Fable game and then Turn 10 being shuttered, it's not a very promising look.
Yes, I would agree with that statement. So it's entirely possible that we no longer see any more Forza. We know that Gran Turismo proved itself to be the better sim racing game, and at that point is when Forza took a turn and went a bit more arcadey. But I don't know. It's
to add to that. The team specifically that got shuttered was the Forza Motorsport team. So as it stands right now, there is no more Forza Motorsport. Period. Like it's done.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. Sucks. If you're a fan of those games, I am very sorry. But in good news for you Xbox players, Helldivers 2 is officially dropping in on August 26th. You get to join the rest of us on PC and PS5 and go live your ODST fantasies.
Mm-hmm. For Super.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So get the Helldivers together and get in there with your Helldiver friends with your ODSTs. It's gonna happen.
Your first match, you Xbox guys, for your first match, what I want you to do is equip the LMG, and when you start emptying the clip, don't aim. Just hold the trigger in and just listen to what your guy says. It's fucking amazing.
It's pretty great. The game is ridiculously fun. I remember when we did our community event and I fucking butchered you with the hatchet. That was way too much fun. And you kept blowing me up with fucking orbital strikes. Good stuff.
Yep. I think I got a dog hair on my nose.
That sucks. Speaking of dog hair, Cyberpunk 2077.
What the fuck? That is not. Hey man, when you're done shitting in the sink, do you wash your hands in the toilet?
No, I wash them with the bidet.
At least that's sanitary.
Is it?
No, it's sanitary. It's more sanitary than shitting in the sink.
Look, I don't know, man. You gave me something. I decided to just run with it. You say anything with confidence and people will believe it, right? No,
Sure.
in other news, Cyberpunk 2077, Edge Runners is getting a second season. For those of you who have or haven't seen the first season, unlikely the cast from the first one is going to be in the second one. So it seems like it's going to be a second story, a whole new story, potentially a whole new cast. However, could be really cool because the last time that Cyberpunk released a series, they made major changes to a lot of Cyberpunk 2077 to kind of line up with what they did with the anime. So we could see some really cool like symbiosis from this where they do Edge Runners 2 and make some more changes to the base game, or we could see some allusion to what could be in the future for Cyberpunk.
Some conspiracy theory happening.
The game Sabotage
2.3. Update 2.3 was supposed to release this week, I think, and they delayed it.
Sabotage.
And they stated that it's supposed to be, or they want it to be on the same level as update 2.2, which 2.2 added a whole bunch of shit. Like a lot.
Nice.
Like it basically took what was already a new game and made another new game.
See, this is why I haven't gone back to replay it, because I haven't played it since its initial release, and they've done nothing but continue to change and make the game better. And then it added an expansion and then changed it and made it better.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they delayed 2.3 because Edge Runners 2 is coming out.
Yeah, it's possible.
And yeah. There's a bunch of people like diehard insiders for this game specifically that are saying that if you're looking for a reason to replay the game, 2.3 might be the reason.
Nice.
Like it's very likely.
Nice. I've been wanting to replay it since Phantom Liberty came out and still haven't. So probably still won't, but I'll get there eventually. Yeah. That is all I had for Quickfire. Mike, did you have anything before we head off for the night?
Oh boy, do I.
Oh boy, does he.
Hey, Ubisoft. Fuck you. But tell your moms I said hi.
All right. That is going to wrap it up for us, guys. We will see you next time. Have a great night.
Bye. Lord.